Well, hello and welcome to Raj Sabha TV. You're watching discussion today with your host Rajat Kane. In this episode, we'll take up the latest on the government's efforts to resolve the stalemate with the protesting farmers over the issue of three new agricultural laws. On Wednesday, in response to the demands of the farmers, the government sent a draft proposal of amendments that it seeks to make to the law. Remember, this law was passed only in September this year, and government is willing to have amendments as per their talks or the latest round of talks with the protesting farmers. The Farmers Union, however, rejected the proposal, now, even as it reiterated its demand for a complete repeal of the laws. Till late on Friday, Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said the centre had not yet received any reply from the Farmers Union on the government's proposal. He also stated that it was only through media that he had come to know of rejection of government's proposals by the farmers. But the minister expressed hope nonetheless of finding, a mutual ground. With the issue remaining inconclusive, the question is what lies ahead and why, despite government's assurance of continuing with discussion, a farmers' union reluctant for further talks. Well, to discuss this issue further, we are joined with two very important guests. Mr. Suresh Kumar Malhotra is Agriculture Commissioner from Department of Agriculture, and Mr. Ashok Tandon is a senior journalist. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on this extremely important issue and, of course, the debate on this. Let me start with you, Mr. Malhotra. Just to begin the show, just for the wider reach, explain us the three new laws that has been passed by the government and what is the government position on the same.
Well, you very well know that the government agenda and government commitment has always been that we need to ensure the better price to the farmers. Okay, then another point is that how we can improve the status of the farmers. So these all historical decisions were taken and then three ordinances were passed. The first ordinance, which relates to Krishi Upaj Vyapar Evam Vanijya Vidhayek, we call it. So this is one of the very important ordinance. Then another ordinance which relates to this farmer empowerment, agriculture empowerment, protection, and price assurance, which we call them. So these are and the third one was related to this Essential Commodity Act. These all three ordinances are very important. You know that this was a long pending demand from the farmers as well as traders that we need to have a kind of restructuring and some kind of is required to be brought into our system related to agriculture. That's why these all ordinances were
You mean
brought.
the law, these
And
ordinances which has been now passed by the parliament? Yeah, the law, yeah.
Related
bills
to this
passed
law
by-
has,
Yeah.
yes. So the main point is that now farmer shall be having freedom to sell anywhere, wherever he wants. This is one freedom, because usually farmer was having only binding that he will have to sell to the licensed person here in the APMC. So now farmer is having a freedom. Wherever he likes, he can sell it. Wherever he will get good price, he can sell it. Then another point that from one state to another state, wherever he wants, he can. Otherwise, he was bound to sell in his own nearby mandi.
Right.
So this is a kind of, I should say, the benefits which are accrued to the farmer. Then another point is that here his tax and levy, etc., that whatsoever is there, that mandi taxes, etc., that will also be saved. And another, his cost to the transportation will be also be saved, because trader will come to his farm, he will purchase it. So this is what the government intention is, that now that farmer, he should have an access to the new technology. He needs to come forward from he needs to come out from this rice wheat system. He needs to earn more and more.
Right.
Some diversification is needed. He needs to grow high value crops. So to sell the high value crops, he need to have contacts with the corporates. He need to have contacts with the companies, so that he can do a kind of contract farming. Contract farming is not new to us. Already it is happening. Punjab state has already, they are doing it from the last 14 years. They are having some act available with them. So several states are doing it. So now farmer will be in a position to do a contact farming where he shall be having freedom to grow high value crops, and then again the risk towards I should say towards his distress sale will also be covered, because that will be a kind of, that will be based on a kind of agreement between the two to grow the crop for them. So there will not be any kind of doubt which were raised related to this, that anybody will acquire their land. Nobody can acquire their land. There is no question of land acquirement. So here the point relates to the agreement between two parties for cultivation of the crop, depending upon the good agriculture practices and better input management, better technology will also be utilized. So these all are the backgrounds which just I wanted to mention here.
Right.
And then again, the doubts which have been raised related to this MSP, there is no question of abolishing MSP. On 17th of September, this law was passed in the parliament, and on 21st of September, MSP was declared.
Right.
And you can see that MSP enhancement has taken place to 70% if you compare from the last 5 years. So there is no question of abolishing MSP. So these all are the misconceptions which are now being heard. These all are the myths which are coming forward. So we need to get away from this, these all things. We should not believe on all these such misleading myths.
Right. Let me get in Mr. Ashok Tandon here, senior journalist. Sir, you have seen several political developments in the last 4 to 5 decades. Now, given this agitation in particular, where do you think the things seems to be stuck? Why farmers are reluctant to talk, even after government have agreed to a lot of the demands which the farmers have put forth before them? Primarily, the one was about the MSP, and that was nonetheless the latest the latest round of meeting or to say discussion was with the Union Home Minister. Sir.
I'm afraid the farmer agitation is now getting out of their hands. We have seen the Bandh called the other day. It was more political than the farmers' Bandh. All political parties were trying to exploit the situation on the ground. And now there are very serious intelligence reports that the ultra-left elements are infiltrating into the agitation. They are taking over the entire agitation. And it is very clear that the farmers are now losing their grip on the agitation. And that is why now there are reports that they will now be trying to go for rail jam, toll plaza jam, and so many things. So this is basically farmers being now playing in the hands of these elements. Earlier, the farmers denied that there was no such element infiltrating into their ranks. But now we have to believe the intelligence reports. And if that happens, unfortunately, there is a law and order situation. Farmers can't say that we are not doing anything. But therefore, I think, and on the other hand, look at what the government has offered. The government has said we are willing for talks at any stage. The proposals which were sent to the farmers have not been replied. And then, even then, the government, Mr. Tomar, is saying repeatedly that even now the doors are open. They will address all the concerns of the farmers which are not satisfactory to them. Because the proposals which they have sent already have offered a lot of concessions, and the government thinking, even amending these laws, and they are willing to discuss it clause by clause for further negotiation. But if the farmers are refusing to join the negotiation, after all, let's not forget that whatever the government has proposed now is also the result of so many rounds of talks. So therefore, why shy away from the talks now? So even if there is some further scope for improvement in the situation, the farmers should join the negotiation and come to the round table and also try to resolve further things. Now, today the Prime Minister has tweeted the video clip of the Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar and appealed to the farmers to listen to the Agriculture Minister's offer and also try to study the law. So that means the government is not taking any rigid position. It is on the contrary, the farmers know, apparently, I don't know at whose instance.
Let me just understand from you one very important thing. Although you mentioned that there are some elements of political elements, although we can't verify what political elements, as you mentioned, are infiltrating or are becoming part of this movement. That is for the farmers' union to verify. Now, let me understand: is this still seen to be movement or to say protest by a particular section of farmers, or is it or the extent happens to be much larger? Is it still like the farmers' union of 2 to 3 states? Because there were some farmer unions which actually called upon the government and thanked for these laws.
Certainly, if we look at the entire agitation, a large number of states are not at all concerned about it. The farmers in those states are not concerned about it. But even then, within the ranks from Haryana and Punjab farmers, a delegation of the Haryana farmers have met the agriculture minister. Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah is also negotiating. So the government side is willing to discuss everything. And some of the farmers' union, I'm told, are also going to the Supreme Court. No, there is, under the Constitution in a democracy, everybody has right to go to the court against a particular law. But, occupying the stage at all the vintage positions at roads and other places on the street, and even during the pandemic, it is not advisable from the point of view of the health of the farmers also to continue their agitation. There are all avenues open, including court, also negotiation. So I think it will be very unfortunate that if some elements who are still to be identified, but the intelligence reports which are coming in, and if I may say so, the Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has named those elements. But the fact remains that from day one, there have been 6 rounds, and government has come down on certain issues because the idea of enacting the entire laws was basically welfare of the farmers. So if certain issues are not seen by the farmers as helping them, so let's negotiate and resolve them. In a democracy, dialogue is the only process to resolve. So I think going on the streets, trying to agitate and do all that I think is not the way in a democracy. And now we also get the reports that getting the reports that the BJP is also planning a campaign, awareness campaign. They are going to plan the Kisan Chowpal at more than 100 places, press briefings at about 780 districts. And this counter campaign will be obviously, when we see all these things happening, where is going to lead. So therefore, I think the farmers should see reason and come back on the negotiating table, try to resolve all the pending issues, because the government has not said, no way, we don't want to talk. But offer has been made to them in writing, proposals have been circulated. Instead of listening to them and giving the replies point by point, you summarily reject that, and that also has not been officially given to the government. So therefore, I think in a democracy, this is not the way to deal with any particular issue, especially when the farmers are the backbone of this Indian economy, and therefore the leaders, particularly those who are agitating, they should also listen to the other leaders of the farmers' organization. All of them are not on the same page, because many of them are willing to consider the government proposal and again come back to the negotiating table. So why not give a chance to the government to again negotiate and renegotiate? Some solution will have to be found. After all, what happens if there is a deadlock? What happens if there is violence, law and order situation?
Well,
who will be responsible?
Mr. Tandon, I'll just come
what
back to
happens
you.
If there are deaths due to pandemic among the farmers? Who will be responsible for that?
Well, right. It's your opinion, Mr. Tandon. I'll just come back to you. Let me get in Mr. Malhotra here. Sir, not subscribing to any unverified reports or talking about the merits or demerits of an agitation here, let me just understand the government's point of view here. Now, there were among the contentions or the issues that were taken up by the farmers' union with the government was APMC Act and the MSP. What is government's stand on that, and what has been communicated to the farmers by the government? We all know that government has assured time and again that MSP will stay, it will continue. Sir.
Well, I would like to discuss it in 3 points. First
Sure.
is MSP, another is related to APMC, and then another one relates to the general points. So first is MSP. So government has very clearly mentioned that MSP will remain unaffected, and the same thing, same practice will continue. And if you see the data, you will find that MSP has been increased very recently to 109.75 rupees per quintal for wheat. 50 rupees hike has been made. 225 rupees hike has been made for gram. 225 rupees hike has been again made on mustard. So this is very much clear from the government decisions, because this MSP will remain unaffected. One part. Another relates to AMC. APMC will never be abolished. APMC will function as such, and government has started infrastructure fund creation. So APMCs are now being strengthened. So 548 APMCs have been linked with electronic national agriculture market, where some kind of infrastructure is now coming up at the APMCs. APMCs are now being strengthened. They shall be having a cold storage facility, each and every APMC. They shall be having a kind of, I should say, assaying lab will also be there. And then farmers will also be having a kind of place where they can take rest, and further their produce will also be stored at a very safe place. So computer facility and all other things have been created. This is another point. Third is that government has very clearly, they have shown that yes, they are ready to talk with an open mind. So this is the point. Another is government has also offered that here if state government wants to have some private mandis, they can also allow such kind of arrangement could be made by the state governments. So they can allow the private mandis to come forward, and they can state government can do the registration for such private mandis, and private mandis will also be charged the tax. So here the confusion like situation which has been asked for APMC or MSP, no question arise for this. So even government is also open-minded, and the government has also made it clear that at any point, if farmers have any objection, that could be discussed. So those issues could be resolved very easily. So here the power related to SDM has been given that yes, he will immediately resolve the issue.
Right.
If there is any issue, within 30 days it will be done. And if farmer is not getting the dues, his dues will be given within 3 days. I have 3 success stories which has come to my notice, where farmers, they approached to SDM, and SDM has given them the dues within 3 days from the traders, and traders have immediately paid them. And there are success stories where farmers are earning through contract farming. Tomato processing varieties farmers now they are growing.
Right.
Potato, for making potato chips, special varieties are now being growing. Onion is also grown for this onion flakes making for export. So these are the success stories now which are coming forward. So these all are the democratization of the farming sector, I should say, through these finances.
Right. Well, Mr. Tandon, as we have seen, we will not say the breakdown. It is still, rather let's say a freeze, because government is still optimistic, they're hopeful, and as you mentioned that by themselves, the government will be communicating to several farmers' union, farmer groups. They'll be holding the communication sessions and communicating the benefits or the merits of these new 3 farm laws. Is there a silver lining in the offing with that, sir? Do we see any other round of talks between the 2 sides, and therefore the resolution, final resolution?
Well, we should always be hopeful in a democracy.
Absolutely,
the best solution
sir.
lies in dialogue, and therefore, through dialogue, any issue can be resolved. So therefore, we are hopeful, at least I am hopeful, that some solution will be found through dialogue. But nevertheless, one thing which is very clear, that no government, whichever party may be in power, would like to enact laws which are not in the larger interest of the farmers.
Right.
But if some laws which have been enacted, considering that they are for the betterment of the agriculture sector, they are to revolutionize the technology, etc. On that also, if somebody has a reservation, some farmers organizations have some reservation, they can always discuss. That is exactly what was happening through the dialogue process. And a lot of, areas have been covered. Some, I think, headway has been made. And that is exactly what has been reflected in the government proposal. So if something still is left to be discussed, there is no reason why the farmer organization should not resume the dialogue. Now, having said that, there is always a scope for judicial scrutiny. If the farmers feel aggrieved, as some organizations have gone to the court, so they should wait for the court verdict also. So what I am trying to say is that deadlock will lead nowhere.
Right.
So if this stalemate continues, somewhere the deadlock will have to be broken. And for that, the government has opened its door. Anytime you can come and, you are welcome to discuss it. We will try to resolve all the issues. Whatever doubts are still remaining can be negotiated. So therefore, I personally feel some of the leading farmers' organizations will see reason and also persuade others to come back to the negotiating table rather than intensifying the agitation, going in for rail roko, going in for blocking the toll plazas and all other things, which we all know is not a democratic way. Because if all this happens, you never know when situation will become out of control of this. So far, peaceful agitation, which has been in the hands of a very legitimate farmer organization, but anti-social elements can always interfere.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Who can stop them? And that is why I mentioned to the intelligence reports which the media has been highlighting that there is already a report that some ultra-left organizations, which Ravi Shankar Prasad described as Tukde Tukde Gang, have already infiltrated. So therefore, all the more reason for the farmers' organization to get back to the negotiating table. Ultimately, some way will have to be found. You can't force the government to withdraw the laws when the government is willing to negotiate and amend all the contentious clauses which you feel are not in the interest of the farmer. So therefore, I do feel, and I am hopeful, that maybe in a day or two, the farmers will have a rethink and they will get back to the negotiating table to resolve all the pending issues.
Right. Well, Mr. Malhotra, as we are about to wrap up the show, and as Mr. Ashok Tandon, senior journalist, he expressed optimism and silver lining in the cloud that possibly in next few days we may see some movement and both the sides perhaps could be talking again and resolving the issue. Sir, my last question to you, Mr. Malhotra. The government's position has been these laws were required for the farmers, and it has been quite some time. It's time that these laws were to be brought. What are the main benefits when government says that these laws could have been brought early, but now it's time that it is brought finally?
Well, I would like to mention here that this is the commitment of the government of India, which they are now fulfilling. Because government main agenda and main point is that how we can assure a good price to the farmer, because distress sale was usually experienced. So how we can get rid of this distressed sale which farmer is getting in the market. So considering all these points, that how we can enhance the income of the farmer, these all new ordinances have been brought into. So this is the basic objective I would like to mention here. Then another point is that government intention is that how we can further empower the farmer, how we can protect the interest of the farmer through a kind of giving a freedom to the farmer that wherever he wants, he can sell it and at the cost, because usually it was questioned that farmer is annadata, farmer is a producer, and somebody else will come and he will decide the price and then he will pay him. So here a kind of attempt has been made through these laws that yes, farmer is empowered to decide for his own produce. So this is a kind of freedom where farmer will get a kind of win-win kind of situation. You take example recently. I just going through the data which was just presented to me. Government has recently procured 360 lakh metric ton of the rice for our public distribution system as well as for our military system. Buffer stocks are now being maintained. For that purpose, it has been purchased. So this is a kind of attempt which is government is now making, and this has been done on MSP only.
Right.
So this has been done on MSP with the objective to give more benefit to the farmer. So it is being purchased from the farmers only.
Right,
So it is
right.
purchased at MSP. These all are the examples which I am just sending. So here you have seen that it's very much clear now from the government intention that government is ready to help. Government
Right.
is ready to sit together, and government is ready to resolve the issues if there are any. But we need to see the benefits of these laws. These laws are never going to give any kind of harm to anybody, and it has its freedom, and it is one
Right,
of the
sir.
option which government has given. If farmer want to switch over to the old one, they can also do that. And if they want to come through this new system, they can also. So these all are the options which have been made available to the farmer. There is nothing, no kind of binding is there. So still they are having a freedom through these laws also. So these all are the points which just I wanted
Right,
to
right.
make before you.
Right, right. Well, that's it, Mr. Malhotra and Mr. Ashok Tandon. We have to leave here. And thanks a lot for joining us and counting the benefits of these three farm laws as communicated by the government, and also the position of the government that they are still willing for talks, and there is no harm in resolving any issue, for that matter, any issue, by holding these talks. Well, thanks for watching this edition of Discussion Today.